Hi, René Molenaar here for GNS3 Vault, and I want to show you how you can configure extended access lists. So what we have, 3 routers, plenty of loopbacks, so we have a nice topology to play with our access lists here. And because they are extended, we can do some more specific stuff. So I got routers running HTTP, HTTPS, Telnet, SSH. And the extended access list can match on TCP, UDP, different port numbers, and so on. So that's what we are going to do. And also make sure we use the most specific wildcard. So let's see what we have. First of all, configure the network. So traffic from CIA loopback 0 towards the HTTP server on this address over here is not permitted, and that's on router NSA. So I'm going to router NSA. Let's see where it is. Here we go. Extended access list, they start with number 100 and up. Now let me check something. So from loopback 0, that's 1111/25 towards HTTP. So that's TCP. That's the wildcard heading for this network. But I need to check the the subnet mask. So this is the loopback, it's a /28, and a 28, that's going to be, let me think, so /24, that's 256, 25, 128, 26, 64, 27, 32, and 28 is 16. So this is the first network, and this should be the wildcard that we need. And also we're going to configure a port or a service, and that's going to be HTTP. And don't forget your permit IP any. Now I'm going to put this one on both of my interfaces. Here we go. Now let's see what happens if we do a ping. And what I'm going to do is not a ping, but I'm going to use telnet. So if you do it like this, you can see that it's working. But I can also specify the source interface. And if I say that I want to telnet from loopback 0, it's not working. And here you can see it. So this is our access list. Don't look at this one. This is the standard access list. It's for the previous lab I did. But you can see here I got a deny statement, 6 matches, and the rest is permitted. So that's looking good. So what else do we have? Configure the network so traffic from router FBI's loopback 1 interface is only allowed to reach the HTTPS server on this IP address, or this network I should say. So let's see what we have. Router FBI loopback 1, so that's between FBI and NSA. So I'm going to add another statement. So what we need to do What I'm going to do is change the access list that we just created, and I'm going to add a couple of more statements here. So statement number 11, we need to make sure that we can reach the HTTPS server from loopback 1. Now loopback 1, that's this network, the 22 something slash 30. So that's a permit. It's a slash 30, so let me think, that's 16. This network, 20. And this wildcard. And don't forget the protocol, TCP. So we got our source towards this address. I can do two things. I can specify just the IP address, and I can also specify the correct network and wildcard. Let me show you just how you can do a single IP address. You can use the host command like this. EQ HTTPS. It's not here, so we just specify the port number 443. Enter. Now that's pretty good. So what else do we have? Let's do a show access list 100. So we got a deny statement over here. That's pretty good. I got my permit statement over here for this loopback. And now we have a permit IP any still at the bottom. And that's going to be a problem here. Because right now we are only permitting this, and then we are permitting this. So there's no traffic being dropped right now from router FBI. And the task says that configure the network so traffic from router FBI's loopback 1 interface is only allowed to reach the HTTPS server on IP address this. So what I'm going to do is make sure that this is the only thing loopback 1 can reach, and everything else will be blocked. And we can do it like this. So statement number 12, deny IP, and then we specify the loopback again. And destination any. Now let's see what the result is of this access list. So from router FBI, let's try something. So first of all, let's telnet again to some. Let's try this. So I'm telnetting to port 443, which is the HTTPS port, and it says open, so my IP packet is being allowed. And that makes sense because it matches on this statement over here. Now let's do it. Let's source it from the loopback. If I do it from loopback 1, you can see it's unreachable. And you can see that it's it matches this statement over here. Now let's see what happens if we try this IP address for the destination. Now it says open, and you can see that it matches this line over here. Okay, so that's looking good. So that's working. What else do we have? Configure the network so only users from router NSA's L1 interface are allowed to telnet into router CIA. NSA loopback 1, that's the 33/24 into router CIA. Now I'm going to do it like this. Access list permit TCP. Going to any destination, but the port should be telnet. Okay, so there's only one permit statement here, and it says permit everything from this network heading to destination any telnet. Now there's something you need to keep in mind, because if you want to secure your telnet, you can do this on the VTY line. And you need to use the access class command. And you need to do it like this. Now let's try what will happen here. So if I try to telnet, you can see it's being refused. It matches this statement over here. There we go. So from loopback 1 it's working. And you can see that it is matching this statement over here. So keep in mind that if you want to secure telnet, you should place it on the VTY lines, but it's a different command. What else do we have? Configure the network so users from router FBI's loopback 2 interface are not allowed to ping to router NSA's loopback 1. So from loopback 2 towards loopback 1. Okay, so that's going to be a creative access list. And on router NSA. So let me check again the task. FBI L2, that's the 222 network. So we're going to edit access list 100 again. And I'm going to use another statement. Number 13, deny ICMP. That's the protocol we use for ping. Source, we need to specify the network. And now I have to think a little bit, because you can see loopback 2 has a /22. It's a /22 subnet mask. So let me think what the wildcard is going to be. If it would be a /24, it would be like this. And this should be the /23. And this should be the /22 if I'm correct. And the network should be, let me think, that's going to be 200. I think it's 200, should be. So this should be our source. Heading for loopback 1 for NSA. That's the 33. There we go. Now let's see if I did this correct. And so I do a ping like this and it's working. From loopback 1 it's working. Sorry, loopback 0 it's working. But from loopback 1 it's not working. So let's see where it is being matched. Okay, that's statement number 12 we did in the previous task. But I'm going to try loopback 2. Source address 222, going to this one, and it's still working. So let's see what we have. Router 2, this loopback heading for L1. Okay, so I messed up with my access list statement. So I was trying to make it match. Okay, of course I did something wrong. If you look at this statement, I took 200, and that's of course not the correct network. So we're going back to IP access list 100, extended 100, no 13, and I'm going to recreate it. And I think it should be 220.0. There we go. Now let's try it again. Now you can see I'm getting unreachables here. And you can see that it is matching on this access list here. So now it's working. And that's also the last task that I had. So this is how you can configure extended access list. You have to be really careful you use the correct networks, the correct wildcard, and the correct ports, of course. And make sure that you have the right order of the statements in your access list. So access lists are you have to be careful what you're going to do here. And I think there is something nice I can show you as well. If you ever have to play around with access lists on a live network, what I always recommend is try to use the reload in command. So you can specify reload in 15 minutes, for example. Press enter, and okay, it asks you if you want to save the configuration, yes or not. But if you say reload in 15 and you mess up with your access list and you lock yourself out of your remote router, then it's going to reboot automatically in 15 minutes. And I think that's better than trying to call a customer and ask them if they want to reboot the router or something. So reload in 50 minutes, for example, is very useful if you have to change access lists on a remote router. So if you say yes, save it, and it says OK, reload scheduled, and it will reboot in 50 minutes. Just to make sure if you lock yourself out, you can access the router again. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like it, I got the standard access list as well, time-based, dynamic. There's some more access list stuff. So there's plenty of labs for you. Thanks for watching, until next time.